We'll be cleaning up the Lexus today. Just be going over a few things. Beautiful Saturday afternoon, early fall. Using some of this waterless car wash. Just kind of clean it up a bit. It's a little dirty. It's been sitting for a little while. Haven't had time to wash it recently. Basically just spray it on and, wipe it off. Cleans it up real nice. Look at that. Go throughout the car and just kind of wash it up here, get it clean. It's a little dirty. Nice shine after that, yeah, it's pretty nice. Look at the front here, wheels are a little dirty. Oh, son of a bitch. Well, that's kind of fucked. Not too sure if I'll be able to buff this one out. It's a little. Let's see if we can clean it up. Yeah, it's nice. No, she's still fucked. A little fucked here. Son of a bitch, man. Gonna stay or... Just a quick story time. Back in July of this year, so I was just driving to lunch, like pulled out of our shop area, and just a main road where it has kind of a weird intersection, but I'll post some pictures and stuff so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But so I was just driving straight down the road, and there's some stop cars in the right lane. It was a 2-lane road that goes straight towards the stoplight. Stoplight was like probably an eighth of a mile ahead. So I was in the left lane, no one in my lane, and the stop cars left a gap because there's like a little pull out for like a Starbucks and stuff on the right side of the street. And right when I got up to that gap, I mean, I was just driving straight as anyone would. This Subaru Ascent is a newer vehicle. The SUV literally just shot out in front of the car, and here I am, just hit it. She just, obviously she didn't stop or wasn't looking or anything, because that should have never happened. Anytime you're going to pull in between stop vehicles, you just inch out and you don't full send it through the gap. Well, she did that, and as a result, I had no time to react to her. Like, it was literally like I was just driving, and there's a car in front of me, and then she hits the front of my car. Like, I came to a complete dead stop. Tires locked up and everything. I mean, it was such an impact that, like, it felt like I just hit a wall, going 30 miles an hour to 0 within, a few seconds. As a result, my car is completely destroyed. And it was just the whole situation. So the cops that showed up, like, trying to, like, I don't know, accuse me like I did something wrong. Which obviously I was, most likely being profiled because of a modified car, as cops like to do. And then the girl's dad happened to be across the other way where she was trying to shoot across. And when the accident happened, this car actually flipped her car over. I was kind of proud of. Took it like a champ. And anyways, her dad was over across the street. He started yelling at me and, saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" and all this shit. Started screaming at the top of his lungs. Couldn't even understand what he was saying. He came up to my car while I was still in it. You know, the airbags went off. Like, I had my seatbelt on, so my chest was in extreme pain. My rib cage was all messed up, and he like started to assault my car and like tried to assault me because my windows were down. So he like raised his fist at me when I was in the car, and there's smoke everywhere and blah blah blah. And anyways, cops tried to give me a ticket, but it didn't. It was invalid because they didn't fill out anything on the report to say why I should have got a ticket. I don't know if she got a ticket. I only had liability on the car at the time. I just started driving it 4 months ago, so I didn't even. When I was going to get the plates, I just threw liability on it because I didn't want to, you know, see how much it was going to cost a month and blah blah blah. I just needed to get the plates, so I did. So I have Allstate. Allstate couldn't really help me; they didn't really try to. The other person had USAA, and you know when you have liability, so regardless if you have liability or not, if you did not cause the accident, the other insurance company is supposed to pay for your vehicle, right? Well, they tried to blame it on me, saying I went in an illegal lane, which would essentially mean they were trying to say I was on the opposite side of the road, I guess. Just completely bullshit. And like, for the first months, and like they didn't even contact us, didn't reach out to me in any way. I was trying to deal with Allstate, and they, you know, could only do so much because I only had liability, which obviously I was not liable. I had the right of way. I was just driving down the road. You know, she drove out in front of my car and hit me. She was also just turned 18. Her dad, apparently he owns his own private insurance company. He used to be a cop, which is also another reason why I think the cops were just profiling me, because they, you know, he was talking to them, blah blah blah, and probably had a good old boy talk to him, and because all the cops there seemed very inexperienced, seemed like they just joined, and yeah, so basically I tried to battle with USAA, called them, I don't even know how many times, probably close to 15 calls, left a voicemail each time, never got a reply. Eventually I got a lawyer involved, and they answered, you know, when I had the lawyer involved, but basically they were still trying to blame me for the accident because they were saying that I was in a illegal lane, which is not true. And you know, like when you see the intersection, you'll know what I'm talking about, or if you've already seen it. Even all the lawyers I talked to are like, no, there's no way this is your fault, blah blah blah, but we have to get proof, and like if you have witnesses, and I had no witnesses, I was just driving to lunch, there's no one with me. But also, like, I would have had to get the proof that like where I was at was a 2-lane road. And you can, this spot, I can edit any. Yeah, so basically I called insurance close to 15 plus times. Never able to get a hold of them. They just completely disregarded all my phone calls. I left multiple voicemails, emails, and they just completely were just writing me off, saying that it was my fault, the accident was my fault, I'm 100% liable. Like, they literally went to the extent of saying that the accident was 100% my fault when I had the right of way and I was just driving down the road. And yes, basically, like I had the lawyer involved. He did a conference call with me and the USAA insurance adjuster. And the whole time that we were on the call, the insurance adjuster was just saying, oh, we're just going off of our insuree's statement. That's another thing too. I never even was able to give a statement to the police or anything. They never asked me, and it's my first accident I've ever been in. Never been in an accident before. Been driving for 15 plus years, and Denver traffic and all that. So I'm well experienced driver, obviously, and yeah, basically USA was just blamed it on me, and they didn't even ask, because normally, like, when you're liable for an accident, they try to get your insurance company to pay for the other person's car. They never did that because they didn't want to get Allstate involved, because if Allstate, if they would have asked Allstate for money, then Allstate would have had my back, and they would have, which, it is what it is at this point. But the whole situation was just really sucks, because now my car that I spent, months and months and months on, and hours of custom work, and it's just all, not all of it's gone, but there's a lot of money just in the front end here that is just gone, and it just sucks that these insurance companies just don't give a shit about you, and they just don't want to pay out any money. That was the bottom line of what happened. But that's the gist of the story. Basically got screwed over by insurance, and everyone involved in it just completely screwed me over. But I am gonna, I'm actually gonna make sure this engine runs. So I'm gonna pull the engine out. The engine's gonna go on my IS300, which will be a whole nother build series basically on the car, which I'm gonna be starting probably, here over the winter time. This pain car dog. But I want to make sure this engine runs. Obviously there's not gonna have coolant, power steering, all that shit's destroyed. But I think it should still run. I have no fuel leaks, there's no oil leaks. I gotta free up the whole front end here, because it's just completely mangled. But I think I'll be able to get it. I'm gonna literally have to chop the whole front end off, because I can't even access any bolts or anything. So I'm gonna be doing that. That's basically the story of the accident. It sucks that it happened, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to just get rid of this car, because the car is still, the rear end's still fine. Everything else is still fine. All the wiring that I did is still here, and it's got the rear drive trains all there. I'm gonna leave the transmission in the car, because I want to eventually turn it into a drift car or track car, and maybe do a V8 swap in it, and just bolt it up to the existing transmission. Because the drive shaft alone is, a custom drive shaft for this car, so I can't just use the drive shaft in any other vehicle, really. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get all the front of the engine freed up, chop whatever off I have to cut off, and go from there, I guess. This was a $200 headlight. Fuck now. Bitch, man. Try to save as much shit as I can. Most of it's pretty fucking mangled. I do know from what I could see, the AC compressor is brand new. Just bought it. Just put it on like a month before the accident happened. Brand new, but it's definitely mounts on the AC compressor are broken. So that's great. That was like a $300 compressor. These are all brand new, straight from Lexus. That bulb's a little. Don't think that one's good anymore. That's trash. Yeah, like I was saying, I can't even. No way, I'm gonna have to cut this frame. I can't even access the bolts for the bumper. This bumper has to come off. Horns, fuck. And just to get this thing on the trailer, I had to pull off the fenders. The fenders were smashed up against the wheels, so I couldn't turn the wheels or anything to load it. After the accident, I had the tow truck just bring it right down the road to our shop where we work. But then I pulled it home, my car hauler, and I had to pull off the whole front end, all the fenders and shit, just to get it onto the trailer. It was so mangled. Tires would not turn or even, roll to load it. Then I am glad that I left, because originally I was going to do a bigger intercooler, so I wasn't going to leave the front bumper on. But I'm definitely glad I did. I think that took most of the impact. I think the whole engine would have been completely destroyed if I would have had the bumper on. So I'm glad I used the intercooler made for this car, but still, it's like $400 alone. Destroyed, obviously. Can't ever eat this trash. In there. So bumper off. So. Sawzall out. Plate should be fine. Let's find out. Go ahead and cut this shit off. A different blade, a metal blade. Yeah, it's that cut pretty well. Wasn't expecting that easy of a cut, but then again, shit. And it's not hurt anymore. Cap's still good. I don't know. $30 cap, so use that. Was a nice intercooler. Wasn't a fan. Lower radiator hose is actually in perfect shape. That's good. Pull that line off. Okay. Ow. We got some tool in there somehow. This was a connector I need. $400. Don't want to catch anything on fire here. It's getting pretty hot. Oh, grab one there. Cool. More scrap. Fan. Wiring, this airbags did work. That's great. So I got most of the shit off the front. Pile of scrap metal now. Yeah, so the front, so there is a few, so I think I can definitely, repair it. A few mounting brackets. Only like really concerning one is down here for the AC compressor, and right right there. But I can definitely fix it. But now I'm just gonna, man, it just sucks so bad. So I literally just, I only gotta drive this thing for about 4 months. But I'm gonna see if I can get to start now. So I gotta just throw in the battery real fast, get it charged up, and it should run. I'm gonna pull off the timing covers just to check everything under here, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll start and run. Obviously not gonna have any boost, but just make sure internally everything's good. I just got the car up on jack stands. I'm gonna put the battery in there and then see if it turns over. Should start. Honestly, I don't see why it wouldn't start, but I got it all free in the front, so it should be fine. Also, I'm going to cycle the transmission, make sure the drive shaft isn't bent. From what I could see, it doesn't look like it is, so it should be good. We're going to throw the battery in there and see what happens. Get all this shit cleaned up before I try starting it, so I can see if there's any oil leaks or anything. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to start and run fine, but we'll see. Get all the shit loaded up in the Razor here, take it out to the dumpster. Over there. Off to the dumpster. Shit falling already. Here lies about $1,400 in parts. That's great. That's awesome. So I've got a battery in, so I'm gonna go ahead and just crank it and see what happens. All the extra. I did have to take off the exhaust, so it's open downpipe right now, just because when I was putting on my car hauler, this car's so low, I didn't want to clear the trailer, but see what happens here. The car, obviously airbags went off. This fucking, but we do have power. You can see the lights on. Stupid tow truck driver freaking jacked up the. Trying to put a spare key in there that I had on the ring. He fucked up the whole ignition, but it's still, key still goes on. Mirror's a little fucked. That's fine. Windshield got destroyed. It had a crack in there, but I think pretty sure the airbag, when it went off, it just blew out the windshield. But yeah, I get this airbag out of my face. Let's see if I can cut. I'm glad this airbag went off, because otherwise my face would have been pretty fucked up. It's not fun going from 30 miles an hour to 0 in a few seconds. Airbag just pissed me off. Get it out of there. Grab the key. So I gotta grab the key, obviously. I think we'll be good. I got the timing cover off. Then I had to loosen this just because it was rubbing, but everything down there looks fine, you know. Nothing really got damaged down there. Like I was saying, all this shit got fucked up, but for now, just to run it for a little bit. You don't need to cool it. That's fine. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and start it, see what happens. I'm gonna, before I start it, make sure I don't have any fuel leaks. Pretty sure I didn't before, but fuel is on right now. Don't have any leaks. Fuel pressure. Let's start it, see what happens. So neutral. Don't need to do. Fires right up like fucking 2JZ. A leak from the oil filter, or from the line for the turbo there. I'm gonna tighten that up though. Got a little bit of leak there. I don't know if that cracked or what happened, but probably cracked. We'll see if I can just tighten. I don't know what happened. We'll check it out. Alright, so tighten up the fitting. So we'll see if it leaks anymore. I just want to run it a bit, like I was saying, but it should be fine now. Try this again. I was saying, everything in here still works just like it used to, so. Oh. Battery's dead, hold on. Took a little break to charge the battery. Also had some family stop by us, so we're gonna go ahead start this. Battery was pretty dead. Just an extra battery I had laying around because I put the other one in my other vehicle, but I think it's gonna be too dead to start. Alright, so I got a different battery in there. This one seems to be fine. Try it again. Okay. Now let's try it again. runs like a champ, so that's good. Turn it off, is, you know, so no coolant in there obviously. Don't want to run it too long, but still lives. Sound like I tread the locker. Not sure why I've seen that. But like I was saying, the rest of the car is fine. Everything still works. All the fuel pumps still work. All the wiring for the engine, all that's still good. Just obviously, front end is a little destroyed. But I'm gonna basically pull this engine out. I'm gonna leave the rest of the drivetrain in there, everything else. And eventually I'll do something with this car. Just saying, I'll have to tube the front end, basically just make it a full track car. Probably V8 swap. But yeah, this engine's still good, so I'm going to be putting this into the IS300 and using the ECU. And then I got CD09 back here. I'm using that guy for the IS300. But yeah, the suspension's still there. She runs. Can't stop a 2JZ. Another thing that I noticed, to like show you the amount of impact. So I had this can back here, this energy drink can. Alright, just chilling in the cup holder. This was a perfectly good can. That's just from how hard this car came from to a stop. Literally crushed the can. I like inverted the lid. Yeah, just for reference. And that takes a lot to just chilling in that cup holder back there. But that's how hard of an impact this was. So it was. Hold on. It was no joke, that's for sure. All over. Yeah, I'll wrap things up here, though. Did get the window up. I had to force it up. This old tent, and I got her up. It should be fine to store now. I had to have a trash bag over the window when I had it outside because the window would not go up at all. But yeah. So that's going to be it for this video. That's going to be it for this video. I basically just want to go over what happened to the car and the reason why I haven't, you know, been posting much about it. And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you, prepared to talk about completely wrecked. Yeah, I never got to put it on the dyno. I'll be able to dyno this engine though, in the IS300 whenever I get it in there. But never got to dyno it in this car. Yeah, eventually I'll do something with this vehicle, but my next goal is to get that 2J into the IS300 and just kind of build that car, so at least I get to enjoy the engine. Right now I can't do much, but I do have some more builds coming up here soon. Actually got another IS300 that I'm doing for a customer. These flies are driving me crazy, sorry. Yeah, basically he wants the same thing that I did to this car, so I'm going to replicate everything that I did, all the wiring, all that stuff, on his car. when I start doing the IS300, I'll be recording all that. So I'm not just gonna, you know, like end it here and be done. But honestly, I needed to take a break from social media and, you know, everything related to cars for a while because I was just so mad. The whole situation, the accident, just how wrong it was, because they just lied about everything on their statements and the reports, and so all the blame got put on me, and now my car is destroyed because of it, even though I clearly had the right of way. Nothing I did. They were just trying to get out of, you know, her losing her license because she's a juvenile driver, and she for sure would have lost her license. So that's why they pulled some scammy strings, but nothing I can do at this point other than just pull the engine out and have fun with that engine in the IS300. But until then, the car's just gonna sit outside. But you know, it is what it is at this point. I can't go back and change anything. It sucks. It really does suck because I did nothing wrong, and I was just driving down the road. For this to happen is it just blows my mind that people can just lie over something so, you know, it was an accident, you know, but when you have to lie about shit, like, why? Just be an honest fucking person, man. Because now my car is fucked. And I gotta build a whole nother car. The amount of time and thought process that goes into this shit, like, nobody understands unless you do it. And that's the thing that really sucks, is, you know. But I did all I could. I tried to get insurance to see my side of things and the truth of the whole situation, and they just didn't give a shit. So I just couldn't keep fighting them. It was just not worth my time anymore. Just gonna move on. And but anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I got a lot more stuff coming up, so I'm not just gonna be done. Got my break out of the way. Kind of refresh my mind over all this shit. But thanks for watching.